Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. I'm going through the comment section. It's about uranium. Someone asked me if you had no position, what would be your top 5 plays at the moment? That's a crazy question, but I like the question. So I was doing the 5-day performance, and it's not necessarily going to be based on the 5-day performance, but remember, I do technical analysis every single day for everyone on the channel. You guys are seeing these moves and whatnot. And again, guys, this is just my financial opinion. It's not advice. But for me, I look for what would be the most explosive move over the long term. And my viewpoint is swing for the fences. It doesn't mean that I take on all of the risk of the world. I swing for the fences, which means that I'm looking for pop. I want something that's got pop. And what I mean by pop, like when you watch people play basketball, you watch for that bounce. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for that volatility in the charts. I'm looking for the bounce. And I know that bounce doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work it may not work, but it's got to have some bounce at some point. If you're going to have a really strong returner, it's gotta have it. You either don't have it or you do have it. And what I look for in the charts is that for the big volatility bounces and moves. So the one that I think has a lot of bounce at the moment is Bannerman, and I like Bannerman a lot. So I am very jaded. UROY has a lot of bounce, that uranium royalty, and I was buying it and cost averaging it in. If you noticed some of my earlier videos, and if you know me in real life, you know it's like, it seems like everybody, I'm like, what should I buy in uranium? It's like, well, buy a little bit of Uranium Royalty Corp. It's down right now, and it showed that it's got the bounce. Because at first, when it was going at like 90 cents, it came up, and people piled into it. So what I'm trying to gauge is money flows. They either have small share floats or money's coming in at it, and that's where it's being directed. So I think UROY is a good one to look into, UROY, which is Uranium Royalty Corp. I like Bannerman. I think Forces Metals, that has the bounce. So I added a good amount in Forces. Goviax, that could be a good one too. I'm kind of here and there. Global had good bounce before. I don't know if it has that same bounce. I own it. I piled in the beginning, but I think that bounce is going to transfer to another one called Goviax. That's just a guess. So I've got Bannerman, Forces, Goviax, and Uranium Royalty Corp. There's 4 right there. Now, I'm trying to look in my charts here to see what else might have a little bit of bounce. And baseload has dropped off. That was a good one in the beginning. Now I'm kind of like, oh, because the share dilutions are what he had done. Looking at some other ones, this is from a selfish kind of, I don't own a lot of this one, so International Consolidated Uranium is one that I've been eyeing. I think that's got some good bounce. It's kind of at a sticking point. So that one I would take into consideration. Encore Energy is one of my favorites in general. So that would be a fighter. And Laramide Resources. So I'm going to come back and I'll kind of describe some ones and how I bought them. I originally piled into Deep Yellow and Encore Energy and Baseload. And then I started buying and expanding outward. The ones that I bought more recently were was Uranium Royalty Corporation. I was cost averaging into that after it pulled up and kind of pulled back, and then I started cost averaging in. What was down in between these two, my first buys and my most recent ones, I bought a lot in the middle as well. I bought Goviax a lot. I bought Global and Atomic in the beginning, Bannerman in the beginning, Bannerman in the middle. I've been buying Laramide, Fission in the middle, because some of these companies, Encore took off like no other, and some of them kind of remained back. Laramide was a laggard that I bought. Same with Fission. So I bought those a lot in the middle. And then looking at some of these other ones, I never bought like a Camco. I bought a little bit into Fission 3.0 when it was down. I bought a little bit into Standard Uranium when it was down, and Canalaska and Sky Harbor. I bought a little bit earlier. I was starting to look for laggards. And right now, I think Forces Metals, I don't know what it is. I think that's got the bounce, and I think it's like right at a breaking point. So that's one I've been looking at. Goviax is another one, because Goviax broke its 32-cent level. It kind of goes up, it'll pull back, and then I think, you know, what overhead resistance do you have? Encore has the same type of scenario though. And Bannerman's been just on fire the entire time. So I like that one. But Consolidated Uranium, I don't know anything in it really. I mean, I own a little bit, but it's like hardly anything. So that'd be one I'd look at. And Laramide, man, there's so many good options. But I don't know as much about Peninsula Energy. I don't know as much about Boss Energy. Paladin, you know, that might be okay. I've just never been so big on that one. But I see, guys, again, this is not advice. I just see the bounce in Forces. When that thing moves, and Goviax has it too now. Laramide's got it, and Fission's got it too. So those have some bounce. Like they're good. We'll see what happens. ISO Energy's already been on a tear, so I don't want to. I mean, it's been going up so much. I don't know if I'd chase that, but they probably have a deposit. So I have a little bit of money in it. I'm just going to let it ride, let it go on up. So those are probably the ones that I would choose. I'm trying to think of just only like a couple. I'd probably do Bannerman, Forces, Goviax. There's 3. And then I would do, if you guys don't want the bounce and you want a good solid play, Next Gen Energy, I like that one quite a bit. And then man, my last 1 or 2 would be I would do Fission Uranium and Laramide. How about those? Those are some. So that's my 5. That'd be my top 5 at this moment currently. I thought about it just during this video. So, and Uroy, I would keep on a watch list, but that's got to pull back before I would be enticed to buy it first. But I do think that's a good one as well, and it's got the bounce. And if Fission 3.0 were to fall low enough, I might think about that one as well, because that's got some good bounce as well. All right, guys. Hopefully this finds you well, and hopefully it answers your question. Appreciate you guys posting. Give me a thumbs up. I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe to the channel, and thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.